Hi, I'm Chip Stites, and this is The Laughing Retirement. Today, we're going to talk about a pretty much pleasant subject, or something that I think is hugely pleasant and that I hope you'll enjoy. We're going to talk about getting to Italy. Now, there are a lot of perceptions out there about Italy, about getting here, about what it costs, about the problems, et cetera, et cetera. So today, we're going to eliminate those problems or talk about how. So I'm going to share screen here for a bit. There we go. Italy, turning the dream into a reality, or figuring out how to get over all those hurdles. Now, Italy is probably one of the most romanticized countries in the world, and maybe one of the more misunderstood, and maybe also one of the more protected countries in the world. And this, I would submit, is to your advantage. The picture you're looking at is a picture from a distance, actually from a vineyard that we toured near Montepulciano in Tuscany. We live in Rieti, a couple hours south of that. And Montepulciano is a beautiful little medieval hilltop city, another one of Italy's dreams. Now, there are two Italys. And why do I say it's protected? Well, I say it's protected because of the bureaucracy, and that's what everybody hears about, the bureaucracy of Italy, and this is a problem. But it's more like two countries. There's the Italian Italy, and then there's the tourist Italy. Now, what you see when you come here and you go to Rome and Venice and Florence and Naples, Pompeii, Sorrento, you see the tourist Italy. And that creates a perception of Italy which is not quite right. And in a way, the bureaucracy helps you, because the real Italian Italy is a lot less costly, it's a lot slower, it's a lot more personal. And the thing I like about it is, on a personal level, it's a lot more genuine. So let's talk about this a bit. Perception number one, and how to get around it. The bureaucracy is too difficult. I can't deal with it. It's harder than other countries, no doubt. If you wanted to move to Portugal or France, you'd find it's a lot easier. On the other hand, I would submit to you that Portugal and France have changed their culture significantly by the millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people that have come in because of the ease of getting there. Portugal has stopped its golden visa for exactly that reason. And exactly the reason that so many people have moved in and prices have gone up, and the Portuguese, the waiters, the fishermen, the people who made the Portuguese society what it is, are finding it difficult to live there. So the bureaucracy in Italy is not difficult, it just has to be dealt with. You can get help, and we can show you who to go to. You may have to move to make it simpler, and that certainly may be easier, maybe may not be easier, but at the same time, one of the things that people don't realize is that the state you live in, because the US taxes by citizenship, will follow you for as long as you live. So if you live in California, New Mexico, where else? New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. If you live in a state that is high tax, Virginia, it may be smart to move somewhere else before you move to Italy. You establish residency in a state like Texas, Alaska, New Hampshire, I believe Tennessee, Florida, that have no tax. You'll save yourself somewhere between 2 and 8% a year. That's a lot of money. So state taxes can be eliminated, and the speed of getting your visa can also be sped up, because a lot of people are trying to go through California to get out of California. And Not so many people are trying to go through Detroit. And Detroit includes the state of, I think, Tennessee and Kentucky, and at least Tennessee, I believe, is a low-tax state. So you could move there, establish residency there, create something there, a rental house, and then move to Italy and save a great deal of money and get to Italy faster. Now, there's a lady here who can help you. Her name is Maria Grazia Colombo, and she goes by Grazia. She is a lawyer, and she can help you through this. Now, she's going to charge you. She's a professional, just like anybody else who would charge you in the United States. But at the same time, she can help you and show you what to do. We had a book about that thick that we turned into the consult. We were approved in somewhere around 2.5 months. And then we moved to Italy. But this was not quite a decade ago. So there were a lot less people who wanted to get out then than there are today. That alone tells you something. But there are ways to make things easier. And Grazia and we here at the Laughing Retirement can help you. Now let's look at perception number 2. Italy's taxes are too high. Yeah, I know. Somewhere around 25,000 or so, they go up to 43%. And that's terrible. That's terrible. I see that all the time. And yet, let's take a look at what you're actually getting. For instance, if you were going to compare Italian taxes to US taxes, well, you'd have to add federal taxes. Then you'd have to add state taxes. Then you'd have to add real estate taxes, because in Italy, when you buy a house, you only pay real estate taxes one time upfront, 0.25%. That's it, done. You don't pay taxes every year. So the real estate taxes here are a ton lower. Then you'd have to add the cost of your health insurance, because if you move to Italy, your health insurance costs go way down. Then you'd have to add your deductible, because if anything happens to you, there's no deductible here. Then you'd have to add most of your out-of-pocket costs. Now, there are some add-ons here in Italy, but certainly not like there are in the United States. You don't have to fill out any insurance forms. You got to add that in. How much is your time worth? How much is other people's time worth? So you add all that together, and I guarantee you, you're going to be somewhere around 40% of your income. But we don't think about it that way. We just think US tax bracket 20%, Italian tax bracket 40%. It's not exactly true. And you have to actually think your way through it. So let's look at the third perception. Perception number 3. The cost of living in Italy is too high. Well, it's last because it's actually the easiest of the 3. The cost of living in a tourist area is high. No question about it. The hotels, the meals, the food, everything is designed for somebody who's not Italian. The average Italian lives on about half of what the average person in the United States lives on. So the cost of living outside of a tourist area, and I would suggest to you that the real Italy is outside of the tourist area. And even less than that if you live in a village down south. So, number 1, the bureaucracy helps you. And it's not difficult to get through. It's just time-consuming, and there's some things you have to do. Number 2, the taxes, when you look at what you're getting and what you're spending in the United States to get that, the taxes aren't high. They're just different. Number 3, the cost of living. The idea that the cost of living is way too high. We can't afford to live in Italy. We moved to Italy because the cost of living is about half of what it is in the United States. So we are almost living on our Social Security. So don't let your dreams, don't let your perceptions, don't let your perceptions ruin your reality. If Italy is your dream, it's still waiting for you. Now, I'm giving a free masterclass on November 16th at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time on how to avoid the coming market drop and creating an all-weather portfolio. It'll be about 1 hour long. Then I'll answer questions as long as you want. The sign-up is free. It's below. Email your questions to info@thelaughingretirement if you have any. Now, as far as getting help on getting that visa, go to mgraziacolombo at lexi.it. That's Grazia Colombo at lexi.it. I do hope that this has been helpful, and I hope you will join us. And I hope that you can realize that taking control of your finances and taking control of your dreams can create a much better life for you, a much slower life. And we can show you how to do both, because this is what we've done ourselves. Now, below is a sign up for the masterclass. And you can always email me. And I'm going to add this right now. You can always email me. Email me at info@thelaughingretirement.com. And I will happily answer your questions. Now, I'm Chip Stites, and this is The Laughing Retirement. And we live in Italy. And I want to show you how to do that and how to make it possible with your finances to get there. So we'll talk again, I hope. I hope you'll join us November 16th at 11 o'clock. And if you have any questions, please email me, info@thelaughingretirement. We'll be talking again soon.